Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. And Sally McKenna, thank you for joining me here today. And I know you have a lot of shopping to do. She has an almost 16-year-old grandson that she has to feed every single day. He's getting bigger and bigger, and I cannot imagine what those grocery bills look like. But we also talked about what it's like when she had to raise 4 children, and you had to do things like how you're going to divide up this into 4 or 5 hamburgers because it's expensive. But the prices today, compared to when our families were young, our paychecks were small, but my God, it's so expensive these days. I mean, the eggs, $5, some are 7. The gallon of milk, and for most families, you can go through a gallon of milk so quickly, it's another $5. It just keeps adding up and up and up. And as a mom and someone who did all the family shopping and had to go to discount stores to pile up a big grocery cart with oversized packages of paper towels and toilet paper and Cheerios, just hoping they would last as long as possible before I had to go back there again. I have a real innate feel for what families are going through right here in the great state of New York. And it's too much. We've heard it, I've seen it, I've talked to people in stores, and as I walk the streets and I go into diners, the cost of living is the number one concern of New Yorkers, and it has been for a while. We have many affordability initiatives that we launched over the summer. We've been talking about this, trying to put more money back in people's pockets when they're going back to school shopping, covering their home heating bills, trying to give more money for parents to give their kids that food in the summertime when they don't have the school lunches and breakfasts. But right now, it's really, really hard. And so, because inflation has been so high, it actually resulted in something we didn't foresee when we were doing our budgeting, is $3 million more that was collected over the last few years, unexpected. And it's all because New Yorkers paid more for everyday products. Their costs went up, they paid more in sales tax, and as a result, the money was collected by the state. So, here we go. That money can stay in the state, or it can go back to New Yorkers. I'm on the side of New Yorkers. People like Sally and her grandson, and others, and he's going to feed a family of 13 over the holidays. I want to help them directly. So what I'm proposing is returning that $3 billion in inflation sales tax surplus, and saying we have about 8.5 million families, either an individual earning $150,000 or a family earning $300,000 or less. $500 more for them to be able to, just as Sally mentioned, not have to worry that 1 month, not have to have that stress. And I'm going to work hard to get this through the legislature, get it passed, get it signed into law with my budget, and then we'll be looking at the returns that come out this upcoming spring and sending out checks as soon as we can. So Sally, I want to just ask you if you have any thoughts on what that would do for a family like yours. You have worked so hard. You're a school teacher. She still wants to be a school teacher. I can tell she loved her work with the 3rd and 5th graders. But tell us what your thoughts are about this, Sally.
Well, when the paychecks come in and I have to decide what bills are going to get paid, what portion, but the first thing that comes out is the food budget that I know I spend every month. And to have a boost of a check like that would make it easier to then put something toward another bill, or just, either way, that money would go to the food, then the money that would be a boost for other bills too. And you mentioned relieving stress. Yeah, we all could use a relief from stress, and it would go a long way.
Well, hope we'll get it done for you, Sally. I promise. We'll get it done. We'll get it done.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Want to wish you the very best of holidays.
You too.
And just give that little 1-year-old grandbaby that's coming to visit a special hug from me, as New York's also first grandmother ever to hold this position. So thank you for joining us. Any questions?
Let's start with on topics. I see you too, Josh.
Statewide office for 10 years now. That comes with a
Back in Buffalo, let's see, what year was it? 2024? Let's see what month it was. Probably about 2 months ago. So it has not. I'm not that detached from it. I enjoy going out. My husband has relieved me of a lot of the duties. Thank God for him. But when I want to get out there and just talk to people, I just, people don't always know it's me. I put on a baseball hat and a ponytail. I'm pretty good at disguises because I have to get my shopping done. And I've been out there a lot. And I also was in the city. I have an apartment in the city. I was at a bodega about a block and a half away. My jaw dropped when I saw the toothpaste I had in my hand was about $15, and it wasn't the large size. So seeing these prices firsthand is something I experience as a New Yorker as well.
Governor, in terms of how you're paying for the inflation based on, you mentioned a sales tax surplus. My understanding is that you're looking at that over the course of several years going back. But hasn't that money already been spent? I mean, it's baked into the overall surplus or deficit of the budget. I mean, that money's not just sitting there in a pot somewhere, right? So how do you plan on paying for that?
No, this is something that, as I look back the last couple of years and I had my budget conversations with my budget director, I'm looking at revenue from all sources, right? And I have worked really hard to make sure that New York State is in a financially sound place so we can handle a downturn. Wall Street has a different dynamic than we're experiencing right now. There's a recession. We have to deal with a pandemic. My job is to make sure that I have the resources to take care of New Yorkers in the worst case scenarios. When I first became governor, we had a 4% reserve. I knew from my 14 years in local government budgeting that you would expect about 15% to give you that little safety cushion. We have hit and exceeded by a little bit that 15%. So that money is there. It's there for emergencies, and calculating that we had unanticipated revenues, that is there. So I'm saying this is one time. Inflation should be trending downward. Glad to see that the price of gasoline in some parts of our state and our country is, $2 now, less than $3. That's good news. That's the lowest it's been in 3 years. Some of the prices are dropping. I don't expect we're going to have that same inflation sales tax surplus again. I don't know that. But I don't want it sitting there. I can't spend it on recurring expenses. It belongs to the people. It belongs to people like Sally to help her out. So I have no trouble managing our finances in a financially smart way as I have been, but also just saying enough is enough, everybody. Let's give it back to them. They didn't ask for inflation. They didn't ask for their paycheck to basically shrink. So this is something New Yorkers deserve. Every state should be doing this.
So just to be totally clear, are you saying that you plan on dipping into the reserve?
No, I'm just saying that money is there. I mean, that money has been exceeded our expectations. It is sitting in our accounts, actually invested. We invest our money too to get a return on. The money is there this year, and I want to get it back in the pockets of New Yorkers.
But I'm a little confused. Why you brought up the reserves.
Because you're asking if we're secure enough for me to be able to do this. I thought was the premise.
Well, I'm asking.
Because I'm saying we have the reserves to protect us for the unexpected.
Right, but what I'm saying is
Okay, well, I'll have my budget guy follow up you. We'll get you straight.
Anything else on topic?
If you don't want the check, I'll keep it. Because when it's got your name, I'll be happy to. Anybody who doesn't want this, I fear you all do.
WAMC, Governor Hochul, Alex Babbitt from WAMC. I'm just curious, do you expect the legislature to support those inflation paybacks?
Yeah, I do. I have known for a long time that this is a real problem. Seeing that I have the ability to do something about it that is direct in addition to what we've done for childcare and covering tuition costs for part-time students and the middle class tax cut that we expedited and the property tax cut that we did already. We have been focused on affordability for years, but this is direct, it's immediate, and it's responsive to the number one stress that people in New York are going through right now. The cost of everything is going up, especially a cart of groceries like this.
So then to follow up, if I may, given state budgeting, is it for some of these refunds?
This was unanticipated revenues that I could spend at the state level, or I can give it back to the New Yorkers who, because of how much was taken out of their pockets, the state has more money. It's a question of fairness to me. This time it belongs to them.
Got time for like 1.5.
All right, well, off topic.
Oh yeah, sorry. Everyone, give a round of applause to Sally. Thank
Yes,
you.
yes. Sally, thank you so much. Thank you. All right.
It's so wonderful meeting you.
We'll let
Thank
you
you
go.
for all you do.
Appreciate you very much. Teachers, gotta love our teachers.
Okay. Now
Don't forget, Jason.
Hi.
Governor, two questions for you. First of all, the new Siena poll came out. You're still underwater, but you made gains with conservatives and males. Why do you think that is? Why do you think you saw a little bit of some uptake from that group? Second of all,
Males, maybe because the Buffalo Bills are doing better. I'm the #1 fan of the Buffalo Bills. I don't know. You know what? I'm not going to sit here and analyze it. I just kind of glanced at the stories. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm going to continue letting New Yorkers know who I am, who I'm fighting for very directly, and I'm going to get out there more and let them see me. I realize I've done an awful lot of good for the people of the state, but I'm not sure they understand how passionate I am about taking care of people like Sally, and I'm going to let them see who I really am.
Governor, my second question was you saw the assassin being arrested yesterday of the CEO, and you saw also the Daniel Penny verdict come out. In both cases, you had a death of someone in New York and people celebrating this sort of vigilantism. Is there something similar about this, and why do you think there's such anger with the system that people are celebrating these two actions of vigilante?
As I said yesterday, and every time I've been asked about this, it is abhorrent to me that anyone could possibly celebrate the assassination, the killing, the murder of any other human being. How far have we gone as human beings that we can't muster up empathy for a family, children who lost a father, parents who lost a child? We have to get back to what has always made our nation great and our people great. And we have to give a damn about each other. So I don't care your views about healthcare companies, because I don't think they're great right now either. Insurance companies need to be held to account for all the people that are suffering because they've denied their claims. That is a fact, and that's something we can focus on. But you do not celebrate the assassination of another human being who is just doing his job. And we don't celebrate the loss of an individual on a subway train who needed help. And we're going to change our laws. We're going to get more details out on that to make sure that people do not fall to the cracks, that people are safe on our subways, that a situation that arose never has to get to the place it did, where there is a tragic loss of life. And we mourn all individuals who lose their lives the way they have in both these circumstances.
All right, last one, Spectrum.
Governor, just your reaction on the state of emergency up in Whitehall, their water issues.
Yep.
Just what is the state doing? What can the state do as far as helping them?
No, very much on this. My head of emergency services and Homeland Security has briefed me on this. We are sending water. We are working to restore normalcy to this community and to identify the source of why the water is not drinkable, why it is not fit for humans right now. So my team is all over this, and we're not leaving until we solve this problem.
Thanks, everyone.
Real quick, on the Siena poll, there was a question in there about whether the state should support President Trump's efforts regarding deportations. Obviously, not exactly what that's going to look like, but a majority, granted a slim majority of New Yorkers said the state should support the president in that effort. How is that poll going to guide how you proceed next year, especially what you just said about listening to New Yorkers?
No. It has zero effect on what I will do, but I'll tell you what I was going to do anyhow. Okay? And I will be announcing it as we're developing it in a more robust way. I just had a briefing on it again this morning. So I'll be giving a full comprehensive approach because there's so many dynamics involved. But let me say this. I'm the first to tell you that our immigration system is broken. For us right now, we have seen a decline in people crossing the border under the Biden policies. There's been a dramatic decline. We're starting to close our facilities, even upstate, they're closing, and in the city. that is a good dynamic, but here's where I stand. If you are on a terrorist watch list, you have committed crimes, there's a warrant out for your arrest from your other country, or you have the audacity to come here and commit a crime in New York, I will continue to work with all authorities to make sure that, number one, you are not deported immediately, because I want you to go through my criminal justice system. Because if I call up ICE and they take them away or may not take them away, you might be back in another week. I have the duty to protect all New Yorkers from criminals. I will continue to work with anyone. Our policies are very different than the city of New York's. Our sanctuary policies are different. We already work with ICE to remove people who've committed crimes and have gone through our system. So that does not change. That does not change one bit. I will also say this. I will not allow for the separation of families and children and going into our schools and wreaking havoc among those who've been here a long time. We have taxpayers. We have people who've been gainfully employed, who are part of society. And that is a different dynamic we're going to look at. But it is very easy for me to separate out what I need to do as governor and who I'll work with to get anybody who will commit a crime against New Yorkers or has a history. I have to protect the people of my state. Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Serious crimes. It is technically a misdemeanor to cross into this country. I'm talking about crimes where you're harming individuals, stealing property. We have a whole list. I want to just allow me the time, because we are developing all the nuances, because there are many involved in this. And we'll be announcing this probably before the end of the year, early next year. I think the public has the right to know. Law enforcement needs to know where I'm coming from. Washington needs to know where we're going to be helpful, what we're going to do. And I'll be very clear on this so everyone has no doubt in their mind what this situation will look like in the state of New York.
Great. Thanks.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming out.